Hey y'all, welcome back to my podcast. I Like It Raw. My name is Mikala Leinani. I'm the creator, founder, owner of the podcast. And here at I Like It Raw, we get into anything raw, taboo, real, just getting into stuff that people don't typically like to touch on. I get into all that here. So, honestly, this is hopefully going to be a quick episode. I am in front of Myers, about to run in here and get my baby some almond milk. But I just wanted to chop it up with you guys real quick in regards to co-parenting, because I feel like co-parenting could be so much easier than I have experienced, and as far as other people's experiences that I've heard. And I feel like a lot of the issues around co-parenting comes from people listening to so many outside sources. And a lot of these outside sources are very biased because, I get it. We all go through some things, you know what I'm saying? Your friends is going to be your friends. Their friends is going to be their friends. But at the end of the day, a lot of the time, friends are just going based off of what you say. Friends and family members are just going based off of what you say and not what they've seen. And vice versa. Their friends is going based off what they say and not what they've seen. So a lot of times I feel like people are getting this information from people talking about you should do this in your situation, you should do this to avoid this, or do this to cause this. And they don't really know the dynamic of that situation. I also want to add the fact that these men's friends never laid in bed with this man. Like, straight up, So their perspective of how their friend or this man is going to be skewed versus that woman's perspective, because a man is different with the person that he lays down with versus his friends, especially male friends. Even when it comes to female friends that they might have even had sex and had those relations before, it's different when you have a child. So it's like there's always this skewed perspective and very honestly some bad advice that gets thrown around between friends and family members because they don't know how that person is in that situation with that person. And we're all guilty of it. We all like to vent to our friends and be able to have somebody to listen. But there's a difference when the friends that you're venting to have also bear witness to the actions that you're speaking on. And that's the biggest part. A lot of the people that give this advice have never seen the actions of the other person that they are speaking about. So my thing is, we need to take a step back, especially when we're co-parenting and when we're venting, to think, how is this going to sound? It's not about making the other person sound bad, but do they know how it really all played out? Have they ever seen some of the things that went on between those people? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of time co-parenting issues like come from that because, for example, I feel like with my situation, I feel like my child's father would get information from his friends that might have kids, and they may be with their partners, they may not be with their partners. But the situation that they're going through isn't the situation that we're going through, nor am I the woman that those men are dealing with. I get that a lot of women can be very catty, and I hate the fact that a lot of women do use their child basically as a pawn, and they use their child to hurt the father. I've seen so much. I've heard so much about this, and it's sad. I'm not one of those women. Never have been, never will be. But in my situation, I have been portrayed as if I am that by the way my child's father would speak to me. Talking about, stop trying to withhold my son from me. Stop, you ain't gonna allow me to see my son, and blah, blah, blah. And it's been all things along those lines, even when I was pregnant. And I'm just sitting here like, how are you talking about I'm not letting you see your son, but you've got hundreds of pictures of him, with him, videos and all this, but you're not able to see your son? It's crazy. And when I'm saying when I was pregnant, this also transpired because he would want to be around my stomach because my son is in my belly. You're trying to keep me from seeing my son and blah, blah, blah. Like, I have the right to come to the doctor's appointments because that's my son. It's crazy, the sense of entitlement, because to come to a doctor appointment about my body with a baby that's growing in my stomach when I'm not with this person, like, we're not married, what gives you the right? And because I didn't want to have him at my doctor's appointments, sometimes he came to quite a few of them, but my situation got to a point where I was super stressed during my pregnancy, labor, and childbirth because of our situation. So to ease my stress, I would keep my distance and, just try and go through my pregnancy with the least amount of stress as possible. But with me doing that, he felt like I was keeping his son from him, although his son wasn't even born yet. So it honestly it was crazy. It was a lot. But I hate the fact that I was put in being like, his perspective of me was me keeping his son from him. And he would say, oh, it's all about you. It's all about you. Yeah, dude, I'm pregnant. But it's not even that it's all about me. It's about preserving my peace and keeping this child that's growing inside my belly as healthy as freaking possible. And as we know, having a child, carrying a child is the closest women come to death. So, yeah, I'm trying to preserve my peace by all means. But I just feel that maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen other situations where people converse with their friends and get this advice and get this information from people and try to apply that advice and information to a situation that is not like their friends. And it causes a sour situation for us because why are you treating me like I'm a baby mama that's withholding the child when I don't do that? And that can cause friction. So when you're having kids with people, I say number one, make sure you're having kids with people that you love and with people that you're going to be with. If you see red flags before you about to have a kid or before you get pregnant or while you're pregnant, be very thoughtful of how things may go and how you can try and maneuver through the situation because it does get tough. But also be mindful that when you talk to your family and friends, so is that other person. When your story is being passed around, the story may be skewed. And it's not about like who's right or wrong. It's literally for the best thing for the child. And that's my next point. A lot of times co-parenting it's never about you two. It's never about you two. It's about what's good for this baby. And it's nice when you can have a person where you can agree on things, and I don't have that issue, where you can agree on things on what to do with your child. But if you have a situation where you guys are arguing back and forth about how to raise that baby for its best outcome, you need to be mindful of that. But I just really go back to the fact that it's really important that y'all situation doesn't need to stay between y'all because we're human and we're going to vent. I know we're going to vent. That's more than likely inevitable. But when you're venting, don't allow the people that you vent to treat that other person funny. Again, I'm speaking from experience here, and I've seen other people's experiences. It can get really ugly. It really can. A lot of the people I vent to, which is like my mom and my granny, the difference with me venting to them is they bear witness to the actions that were done, and they see why I feel how I feel. But when I feel like maybe my child's father, when he's venting, I've never been bold, done him wrong, anything like that, nor has any of his friends bear witness to me treating him wrong. But just because he's told them something, I've had his friend treat me crazy. Like, I don't like a man that can't look me in the eye and have a conversation, but you want to be all in my son's face. Like, that's my child. I don't care if he's your friend's child, but before you think you're going to be all playful and buddy-buddy with my son, you can respect the woman he came from. You know what I'm saying? And for grown men to do that is so strange to me, because you're putting yourself into a situation that you have no business being in. And you're probably also giving him the advice that you have no business giving, because you don't really know the logistics of anything that works. And anytime I've seen you, I've always gave respect. I've never been like disrespectful to him or his friend or anything like that. But I can feel that energy, and I bear witness to the energy coming to me with the blatant disrespect. And I don't like that. I don't like that. And so when you're having these conversations, I mean, you would think like the people would still act like they have some sense, but sometimes they may not. So it can really cause friction in a co-parenting situation that is unnecessary, because here you are telling your business, and that's fine. But when you telling your business and who you telling the business to come knocking back at my door with disrespect, is crazy work. It's insane. Keep that over there. So it also makes, like, as a parent, it makes me look like, who would you have my son around? You know what I'm saying? Because if this man can't respect me to my face, what is he going to be saying around my son behind closed doors? So it's such a sticky situation. And again, co-parenting could be so easy and it could be so wonderful, but it really just depends on who you are working with and the type of mentality of the people that's around the person that you have to work with. Because it's not just about you and your partner, your co-parenting partner, it's about their friends and it's about their family. And if you see like bad habits and you see things like blatant disrespect towards the mother of the child, no, I would not want my son around somebody like that. Because for that grown man to think it's okay to be rude to me or to be funny acting to my family is absolutely crazy. But we invited you to our house for the baby shower, for the gender reveal, for the birthday party. Like, you come around and you act so shady because of what you heard, but not what you know. And that's the difference. You're acting shady because of what you heard, but not for what you know. Like, it would make more sense for my family to act shady because for what they know. They bear witness. They've been in the rooms where it got heated. They've seen the actions. They've seen things and witnessed things themselves with their eye and their own ears. So for them to act funny, I would get it. But for somebody that's never even been around to act crazy is wild to me. But that's neither here nor there. You know, people gonna be how they gonna be. And you can't control how people act towards you. But like I said, you can't control who you allow your child to be around. You can control how you react to situations. And I guess you can control, like, yourself. But controlling everything else is not possible. But I just want other people to take heed to that, because co-parenting could be so easy, but sometimes it's not, and more than likely times it's not. And then it gets really nasty when people like to get on social media and start posting about, oh, I'm just trying to see this, I'm just trying to see my child, and blah blah blah, because I've had that happen to me too. And honestly, I think it's just sickening, because now you're trying to portray to your following, to the world, or whoever you want to see it, that I'm this woman that won't let you see your child. And it's absolutely asinine to me, because my child's father gets to see his son whenever we're both available. Like, if we're both available and he asks that day, oh, can I come see him? Yeah. If I'm not available that day, no, we could try for this day. So it's like I always made the time and tried to be as, you know, accommodating as possible. And sometimes, yeah, no, our schedules just don't line up. Sometimes he has to cancel, and sometimes I have to cancel. But does he see his son? Yeah. Like I said, by the amount of pictures that he has, yes, he does. But like I'm just saying, when it's taken to social media to kind of have a whole gang of people try and frown upon somebody when they really don't know the true situation, because that's never happened, it's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. And then, like, people will do things to their children out of spite. And it can get really freaking disgusting, y'all. And I'm one of those people, like, I don't want my child posted on social media, but he was blasted on social media out of spite towards me. But the excuse was, I always wanted to post him, but you posted him when you got mad at me. So, and this is because I didn't tell him we were going out of town. I told him while we were out of town that we were out of town. But it is what it is, you know. I apologized, told him, yeah, I should have told him. But he blasted all his pictures on the internet after that. And I will never believe that it was just because you wanted to post all them pictures of him. I definitely believe it was in spite of me, because can he know, like, does he know that you posted all these pictures of him? No. Do I know because, like, we had a conversation and you said you weren't going to do it? Yes. And when did it happen? After the argument. So it's just, be careful and be mindful who you have children with. Co-parenting situations, they're not going to be perfect. They can be great, especially when you are co-parenting with the other person and not with the other person and their friends, because obviously, where's the advice coming from? But it's all just about being aware and being, I don't know, respectful and not taking things personally, although it's super easy to. But a lot of times you just can't take these things personally. It's literally about my child and the best thing for him. And with me being an actress and not wanting my son posted, because I just have to go back to that just to give you guys the little nuances. People are weird. I'm an actress. People already come up to me. When my son was a baby, people would come up to him with me and, like, try and touch him, pull his blanket off, and just to see him, because I would keep him covered. And it's like, people were doing that without him being posted, and people know who your child's mom is. So it's like, I just try to preserve everything as best as I can. But to do that, like, it's jeopardizing our safety because, like I said, people are so strange out here. So it's a protection and privacy thing for me. I'm grateful to be an actress, but I'm also mindful of what comes to being in a light that a lot of people, you know, like, and where people want to, you know, see people and do things. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call, but yeah, honestly, just be mindful of who you talk to, and who you got up in your business and what advice you take. Do not apply advice that does not apply to your situation. And some people really need to be mindful that people honestly may give you bad advice because they want to cause something. Like, and that's just to be real. That's just to be 1,000% honest with y'all. So, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and cap this episode off right here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay strapped up, and I'll be seeing y'all in the next episode of I Like It Raw.